the north in Eurasia lived our old friends, the Neanderthals. Distant cousins, part-time lovers, at this point in time they extended across a huge swathe of the continent. How far east and how far south exactly they extended, though, is a big subject of debate. Two of the most eastern examples we've found so far come from Teshiktash Cave in Uzbekistan and Denisova Cave in Russia. As you can see, the territories of Neanderthals and Homo sapiens likely overlapped in Southwest Asia, making it the most likely source of the HNIPS, Homo sapien Neanderthal Initial Boinking Zone. I didn't make that up, that's the scientific term.
It's science.
Further east into Asia at this time, we had the enigmatic Denisovans. They're a much closer relative of Neanderthals, but their exact range is really hard to pin down. We have for sure only recovered two Denisovan remains, one from Denisova Cave and the other from Baishir Karst Cave in Tibet. We know from genetics of people in Southeast Asia that interbreeding between Homo sapiens and Denisovans occurred down there, but as yet we haven't found a single fossil. So there's not that much I can say about these southern Denisovans. They're currently sort of missing from the fossil record. However, now that we know of the existence of Denisovans, older fossils that have been given other classifications like Homo Erectus in places like China are now being reassessed, and so I can't say much at the minute, but who knows what will come from that research. On the islands of Southeast Asia, though, is where stuff gets really interesting, really funky. Tucked away on the island of Java lived an isolated population of Homo erectus. These guys were an absolutely crucial step in our evolution. I've made a video on them before. Give it a watch. It's an absolute banger. They once extended across Africa, into Europe, across Asia, but by 100,000 years ago, they had either died out or evolved into other hominins. Tucked away on Java, though, isolated from the rest of the world, a population of them seems to have survived until 108,000 years ago. Absolutely incredible. They're really a relic of a bygone age. Just over the water from Java, on the island of Flores, lived perhaps the most unique hominin that archaeologists have ever discovered, Homofloresiensis Aka the Hobbits. These tiny folk were probably only around 1 meter tall as adults, and it's most likely that they descended from a population of Homo erectus that got stuck on Flores and suffered from a phenomenon called island dwarfism. They may have survived until as recently as 50,000 years ago, which does mean possibly that as Homo sapiens were expanding across the world, these two groups came into contact. The final species that we know of from this time was found on the island of Luzon, and so is called Homo Luzinensis. There's not much I can say about them at the minute because it's such a recent find. We just know that they were there. And who knows, they may well turn out to be our missing southern Denisovans. We don't know. It's a really early stages of research, but what is definitely interesting about Homo Luzinensis, though, is that Luzon has been an island for almost 3 million years. So the fact that there were hominins there is the best and earliest direct evidence we have for hominins traveling across the water. So pretty cool stuff. Okay, I'm trying to finish this video on time, but just as I'm editing it, two new, apparently distinct groups of hominin have been found. One in Israel and the other in China, dubbed Homo longi for the time being. Absolutely fantastic skull, fantastic specimen. Really, I should have said at least 6 species at the start, because a lot of the classifications of these fossils are very highly debated, and these two new finds certainly add to that. I don't know how long this process of dividing these different fossils that we find into different groups is going to last, because this time period, it really is a period of incredible human diversity, and that's easy to forget now in this world where there is just one hominin left, us, Homo sapiens. But we're really prehistory, deep in prehistory, the Paleolithic. It's an incredibly diverse time, and I do have 2 videos in the works right now, specifically on this human admixture, human diversity, the evolution of Homo sapiens. Stay tuned for that. But an incredibly diverse time. And yeah, any anthropologists watching, if you could not publish any more discoveries for like a week so I can finish this bloody video, that would be fantastic. Zooming back out at this map we've made, please bear in mind that the day-to-day, year-on-year ranges of these hominins could have fluctuated wildly. Climates change, herds move on, and our Paleolithic ancestors were just trying their best to survive. Before we get into the incredible technological and economical and artistic achievements of the time, we have to acknowledge that for a lot of our Paleolithic ancestors, it was a hard life. I wouldn't fancy swapping places with them, that's for sure. Now, we don't have thousands upon thousands of human remains from this time period, but in a study of 200 Neanderthal remains, 17% of them had cranial injuries. And these injuries are similar to what modern rodeo riders often get, suggesting that these Neanderthals got these injuries from going toe-to-toe with the absolutely massive wild beasts of the Ice Age. We don't have any evidence of archery at this time. Good convincing evidence of archery doesn't appear until around 60,000 years ago in South Africa. So if you were a Neanderthal, you were either throwing your spear at your prey or you were having to go up close and personal and stab it yourself. When we weren't being hurt by our prey, we were becoming prey ourselves. In a recent excavation of a cave just outside Rome, 9 Neanderthal remains were found, the oldest dating to around 100,000 years. Days in the excavation of this site, but archaeologists currently